Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, we are leading the show with a conversation on the controversy in Itasa community, which is in the Iwajowa local government area of Oyo State, where there is mining operation going on, and there's a bit of tension between the company and some people in the community. This conversation is going to also reflect on the kind of federalism that we operate, where the land belongs to the state, but the content of it belongs to the federal government. And so to join me in that important conversation, I have somebody who was the gubernatorial candidate of the National Conscience Party for the in Oyo State in 2003, a radical lawyer and ally of the late Chief Gani Femi, a notable Nigeria. I'd like to welcome for the first time onto Inside Sources, Comrade Femi Aborishade. Comrade, welcome to Inside Sources.
Thanks very much, and I want to appreciate the work of Inside Sources.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, you are based in Ibadan. That was where I went to school, grew up, and became a journalist, you know, way back to 1997 when I was the editor of Tribune on Saturday. So I'm much an Ibadan man like yourself, comrade.
That speaks to the greatness of your state.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we're going to get to this controversy of what is happening in Itasa community. And I know that you are also the legal advisor to the community. Now, but I'd like to have my regular opening question that I ask my guests, since this is your first time on Inside Sources. If you look at where Nigeria is today, comrade, you are a radical lawyer. You've worked with people like Gani Femi. You ran for governor in 2003. Are we on course to that great nation that many of us dream about in Nigeria today?
Unfortunately, no. Successively, the governance of Nigeria has been hijacked by the enemies of the people. They are not interested in governing for the well-being and welfare of the people as provided under the Constitution. They are more interested in capturing the wealth and resources and dispossessing the people. Day in, day out, we continue to witness unprecedented agony, pains, and pans, while the rulers continue to swim in opulence. We have a contradiction of the people wallowing in abject poverty, and the rulers are just interested in looting and dispossessing the resources of the people for their own well-being. They are rich and wealthy because the people are poor. The people are poor because the rulers are rich. The basic reason for this is that the means by which ordinary people ought to enjoy their lives, those means are being looted and being stolen by the ruling class. So we are not on course. The Nigerian people ought to organize, ordinary people ought to organize and stop looking up to their enemies in power. The rulers in power are the enemies of the Nigerian people. Until the ordinary people realize this fact, until they draw this lesson, we will not be on course. We have missed the road so far.
Well, thank you for those opening comments. And, you know, just because we want to focus on the mining controversy in Itasa, you know, I will postpone a further discussion of that, because you've raised quite a very important perspective. And by the grace of God, we're going to get the time that you will come back to Inside Sources so that we can delve into some of the fundamental insight that you've shared. So let's just segue to what is happening in the Itasa community. Now, there is a mining operation that is going on in that community. And it will seem that some of the precedent, the legal requirements that have to be in place before mining operation or to take off are not in place. Now, I have followed this story for quite a while, and I wanted to ask you just to give us a summary of what is happening currently in Itasa community regarding the controversial mining operation. Comrade.
I think the crux of the matter, the kernel of the matter, has been summed up by you. I am concerned with the law. The law, the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007, sets out certain conditions precedent which must be fulfilled before mining operations begin. Unfortunately, the miners in the Itasa community have, with impunity, ignored those conditions precedent. Those conditions, we can say, are also the sine qua non activities or acts or actions that must take place before mining activities take place. But they have been ignored with ignominy. First, the Minerals and Mining Act provides in section 116 of that act that there ought to be concluded what is called CDA, Community Development Agreement, ever before mining activities begin. Section 119 also provides for another condition precedent, environmental impact assessment must be conducted and be in place and approved before mining activities can begin. The EIA has not been conducted, was not conducted prior to the commencement of mining operations. Not only that, the Act also provides for rehabilitation and restoration program, environmental protection and rehabilitation program, which will show how the land will be reclaimed, rehabilitated when destroyed in the course of mining operations. Because mining operations are accompanied with destruction of the environment, of the land. This plan is not non-existent. The miners are not bothered about it. Unfortunately, the government, the federal government that is empowered to enforce the law, they have closed their eyes, they have turned deaf ears to the cries of ordinary people in Itasa that the government put the law in place. Enforce the law. It is not too much to ask you to perform your role, but unfortunately, public officers in this country are always very eager to be compromised. We have a situation in which we have written, and they claim that the miner, one particular miner, Archetype Industries Nigeria Limited, has a valid community development agreement. And we told them no. This particular miner gave us a letter written by the ministry rejecting the CDA that he purportedly signed. One of the queries the ministry raised then was that how did you select the representatives, the signatories, who represent the community? You did not explain. And that is the method of work of miners in the community. They go about hoodwinking, compromising some so-called leaders. Having compromised them, they send anything for them. Even the ministry rejected it. So we told them, you, the ministry, you rejected the CDA. No other one has been in place. You are not concerned about EIA. Government ought to protect the interests of the society, of the people, of the generality of the society, but they are busy protecting business interests.
All right.
It's unfortunate.
Okay.
What is going on in Itasa is a good example of what Marxists call, how Marxists define the state, that the state is nothing but the executive committee of the bourgeoisie.
Okay, all right.
Government has been serving the interests of business. As far as mining activities are concerned in Itasa, they are not serving the interests of the people.
All right. So, Comrade, let's take it one by one. And so you said that at a point, the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals, did reject or question the Community Development Agreement. Now, so that implies that they later agreed. Does that mean that later on the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals changed its mind on the Community Development Agreement?
They did not change their mind. No other community development has been submitted ever since they rejected the one submitted by the miner.
Okay, but
this is the letter by the ministry that I'm holding here.
Okay, come in.
It is dated 19th April 2022. No other one has been submitted.
So at what point?
It was in 2022 that we held series of meetings with the miner, and we agreed we were going to draw up, from the point of view of the community, a community development agreement. We did that and submitted it to Archetype Industries Nigeria Limited on the 4th of December 2024. Till date, he has not reacted to it.
All right.
Even though we have now proposed a meeting to hold under the auspices of the ministry to hold on the 7th of August.
Okay.
At the JDPC Secretariat in Ibadan.
Okay.
But no other one has been submitted.
Okay, excellent.
Therefore, today, no valid community development agreement.
Okay.
This is the letter.
Excellent, excellent. And in the course of this story, that we are getting into, we are also going to make opportunities available for the miners, the company, and even we are also going to be speaking in the course of this series. We're going to be speaking with the Miners Association of Nigeria. And of course, I have also been speaking to some of the officials in the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals. What I want to ask now is, at what point did the miners got the license? At what point?
Well, the point I want to make fundamentally is that for a company to have license to mine or a mining lease or whatever, it's not sufficient for that company to claim to be operating legally. You may incorporate a company, but there are other conditions you must fulfill depending on the area of the economy you are operating. In this case, the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act sets out conditions precedent, which the miner, the most prominent miner for now in the community, did not observe.
Okay.
That is the point we are making. However,
yes,
ever before the ministry would give a license to any company or anybody to mine,
right,
by virtue of sections 100 and 102, sub 2, subparagraphs A and B of the Act, the ministry or the minister is obligated to write expressly to the community, asking the community to set out the rate of annual surface rent that they will claim. So demand and set out the compensation they want. No such letter exists.
Okay. I understand that. What I'm trying to get at is, at what point did the miners commence operations? You have established the view that there is no agreement on the Community Development Agreement, which is a condition precedent. you have also established the view that there is no environmental impact assessment report. You've established those two positions. My question is that, can you tell us at what point did the mining operations...
No, there is a third one. Environmental protection and rehabilitation program.
Okay.
It is not as...
All right.
It is not in a...
So, okay. So all of those points have been made. My question is that, can you tell us, for the benefit of our viewers, when did the miners started mining operation in Itasa community?
From the brief that I got from members of the community, and I'm also a member of that community, they started mining operations about 2000. Year 2000.
So they've been mining for 25 years.
Exactly.
Without,
in your view, that period.
Without your view, no CDA, no community development agreement, no environmental impact assessment.
None. And we are also contending that even the consent they have is invalid, because the minister ought to have written the community, notifying them that a particular company is seeking to obtain license.
When did they get the consent of which you speak, Comrade Aborishade?
No, they have what they purport to call what is purportedly called consent. But we are saying the consent they have was obtained by manipulation.
So yeah, I get the point. I'm saying that so they probably got that consent, and now we are trying to understand it since they started operation in 2000 or recently.
They obtained the consent in 2000, but that consent is not valid. That is the point we are making, because even from the letter by the ministry that rejecting the CDA, the ministry queried the CDA that the manner by which the representatives who signed on behalf of the community, the manner by which they were selected was not indicated. In the same way, these miners will just gather a few persons together without convening a general meeting of the community. The land does not belong to an individual. The land belongs to the entire community, and the impact now and in the future will be borne by all citizens and future generations. To that extent, they all have a stake.
Okay, all right.
And that is supported
by the law.
By the law.
Absolutely. Now, so
domestic law, the Nigerian Constitution, section 43, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights,
absolutely,
which vests in the people the right to control their natural resources for their own well-being and for sustainable management, for the enjoyment of the current generation and future generations.
All right. Yeah, let's take it a little deeper. So, what is the role of the Oyo State government in all of this? Now, we understand that we operate a very unique brand of federalism where, our constitution, as it is currently, says that the state, and by extension, the state governor, holds the land in trust, okay? But the mineral inside the land belongs to the federal government. That is just one of the, in my view, some of the absurdities of our federal system. But we're going to get to that. The point is that since the state is the one that owns the land, even though they don't own the mineral, what is the involvement of the Oyo State government in this situation so far? If you can just share that with us.
The Oyo State government is also concerned with illegal mining activities, but it will appear that the Oyo State government is also frustrated by the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act that places control of mining activities in the federal government. For example, the Director General of Oyo State Solid Minerals Development Agency, Mr. Abiodun Oni, went to Itasa to visit the mine site, and they were attacked by the private militia engaged by the illegal miner who has not fulfilled the conditions precedent. But they were lucky they survived it only because they also went with the police and Amotekun, and they got them arrested before they can carry out their visitation. Unlike us, when we applied to the police for them to give us police escort, that we were not going to the mine site to fight, we only want to observe. Give us police escort so that our intention is not misconstrued, that we were there to cause violence. The police resisted. They said they could not give us escort, that whatever we want to do, we should empower them to carry out the investigation on our behalf. And we said, no, cannot work that way. We were lucky that the Amotekun exists. We approached the state government, and they gave us escort of a good number of Amotekuns who accompanied us to ensure that our intention, our physical visit, was not misconstrued. So I actually agree with you that there is a problem. It is not only the state government that ought to have a say. The community, where the mines, where the minerals, are being mined, also deserve to have a say. We now have a situation in which illegal miners go about with police escorts, and we, the owners of the land, are not given police escort to even visit the mine sites. It is as bad as that. It is ridiculous. And we are arguing that Nigeria, as a member of the international community, that is the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, that covenant vests in the communities, in the peoples, the right to control their resources for their own well-being today and for sustainable development for the interest of future generations.
All right, Mr. Femi Aborishade, thank you so much. Let's begin to conclude. I want to make some statements, because I've been speaking with a lot of the people involved. I've spoken to people in the Ministry of Solid Minerals. I've also spoken to Mr. Abiodun Oni, who is the Director General of the Oyo State Solid Minerals Development Agency. So I have a fair understanding of what it is that is happening. There's also a public video. I believe it's available on YouTube, where the chief executive officer of the company that is doing the mining said that they have completed the environmental impact assessment. It says that on the record, and of course, it's the Federal Ministry of Environment, that has the responsibility to approve, to assess, up or down that report. So the miners are saying that they have done their own part in developing the environmental impact assessment, but it's the federal government that has not yet approved it. Now, but the important thing is that, as you have said, the condition precedent before mining ought to happen is that report ought to have been approved. And then there has to be an agreement on the community development agreement also, which seems to also be contested. And so we are hoping, and we are going to be continuing this conversation. We will also be speaking, hopefully, with the miners, because it's a good thing. They are also out there trying to make an explanation of their own perspective. And we also will be engaging, hopefully, with the Nigerian Mining Association, so that we can have a broad and general overview of this problem. So let's see how the hope that he will do it within the time that is left. Thank you so much, Comrade Femi Aborishade. Thank you for your work. Thank you for the courage and the forthrightness to stand up for the Itasa community. And Thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thanks so much. We are always inspired by your forthrightness in Inside Sources. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. And there you have it, a segment gone. We're going to return with the conversation for the day. Inside Sources will be right back.